I've got a great idea for a brand new app, but I have a problem. I can't code. So there's no way I can build it, right? Well, maybe not. Today I'm going to try and build an app from scratch using Lovable.dev. This is a great new website that says it can take your ideas and turn them into apps in seconds. So today I'm going to do a bit of a raw video and see what it looks like in practice when you actually try and use Lovable. I, for ages, have wanted to create an application that gives you audio guides of different cities. There used to be an app that I loved out there on the market, and there just isn't anymore. Not quite in the way that I liked it before. So let me try and type in what I want to do, rather than you having to watch me slowly type out the prompt. Here it is on screen. So the app is called City Echo, which isn't the coolest name, but it was the best I could think of at that moment. And it's an immersive audio walking tour app. I've asked it to focus on a few different features. I wanted it to have a slick design. I wanted it to use GPS location technology. And I also wanted to create two initial tours, one focused around a tour in Greenwich, London, and the other one in Westminster. So let's see what it comes up with. Wow, that was quite the feat. That took me ages in and of itself. Let's try it. Let's press, I tried pressing enter. Did that do anything? Oh, it's doing it. Here we go. It's saying, I'm excited to create City Echo, an immersive walking tour app that brings the stories of the city to life through podcast-style storytelling and GPS technology. I love the way on here that Lovable kind of tells you back to you your prompt and describes it in a nice way while it's clearly working on it. I think that's quite different to some of the other experiences that I've tried so far on other apps like Bolt, for instance. I don't remember quite as much of a conversational nature to the interface as I'm getting here. I'm curious how much it's going to build the overarching interface and navigation from the start on this, because I've given it quite a complex initial prompt. And also, how far does it go into the tour itself? Will it start trying to creating a tour, or will it just create placeholder content with the assumption that an audio tour would be put into that place, if you get what I mean? Right. Ooh, interesting. So City Echo, discover London through local stories. This looks great. Immersive audio walking tours that reveal the hidden history and untold stories of London's most fascinating neighbourhoods. We've got some, this is looking very professional already. There's no image for Greenwich. There is one for Westminster. Maybe they don't have one of those images. We've got Greenwich and Westminster. Experience London like a local. Start your journey. A lot of these buttons look like they're going to do something. Discover, tours, about. Let's. I'm just going to try and navigate across a few pages here. So, okay, that discover button. I don't think that's doing anything. If I click tours, all right, we get a 404. This isn't so positive. It started off so well. And then about, also a 404. So maybe those don't have them. If we go explore tours, yeah. We're going to the Greenwich tour. Okay, if I go into Greenwich, right, from memory, this looks quite similar in terms of the interface to a couple of the examples that it shared. It does feel like a bit of a mix between Voice, Map and Detour, a couple of sites that I've got some familiarity with, which is a positive in some ways. It's drawn some of the UX experience from that. I'm going to try clicking Start Audio Tour just to see if anything happens. Oh, it's got a play button. Will anything actually be on here? It's just a placeholder. I think this is just a placeholder. It looks like as well, so what it does here is it's got a few different stops and some files to play. And then it's got this map placeholder section, currently at Royal Observatory and Prime Maritime, but the map itself isn't loading in. Let me try and navigate back. And I'm guessing Westminster, yeah, we've got a similar thing going on here. It's got some images coming through, again, just placeholder content, but this is pretty impressive for a first start. It's created a pretty comprehensive site. is it looks like it's not only built me an initial interface, it's also suggesting some of the possible other services to start working with. So maybe start building it up further into GitHub, but it's also suggested Supabase, this backend as a service. I'm guessing they make some money out of that, but maybe there are easy ways to integrate that. So that's really positive. I'm going to just try and build out the site a little bit further. So what we noticed was there wasn't much on the about page, wasn't much on the tours page itself. So let's try and link those. In my next prompt, what I do is I try and make it link each of the pages because there are clearly some 404 errors today. I also ask it to create content on pages like the About page, where I also make it reference Product Sam and see what it comes up with there, and tell it to add content to the tours and the Discover page, including some interesting blog style content. Finally, I ask it to add a login and registration flow and allow for people to still explore in guest mode because I didn't want me to be locked out, and add the ability for people to save tours as a favourite in their profile. Okay, there's a few things I've added there. Let's see if that works. The initial build of the site took a little while, but I'm hoping now that I've just added a prompt that's editing and adjusting the site a little bit, it might move a little bit quicker. I'm also curious, because it made those suggestions about the fact that you can integrate it quite quickly with a backend. Can I prompt it to do that, or do I actually need to code that myself? As someone that doesn't necessarily know how to code particularly, it would be great if you could automatically connect that to a database, but who knows, maybe there's limitations there. I'm really curious in particular of everything I've asked it to do in how it's going to work through this concept of generating audio files. I don't think it's going to be able to do it, but let's see if it can. What I meant by that is when I actually went into the tours and pressed play, I'd love to hear some actual audio and for it to maybe even have created some actual tours as within the website. But yeah, I'm not holding out too much hope. But it's now saying error build unsuccessful. Let's click on that, see what it does. What do we do then? So try to fix. For the code present, I get the error below. Please think step by step in order to resolve it. Okay, so now it's going to try and fix its own errors. It says I can see the issue. The error occurs because the tours file is trying to import a function called getAllTours. Okay. So it created something that confused itself. I'm going to click on a few of these buttons and see if they now start working. Actually, I didn't tell it to do anything with Discover, did I? Let's go to Tours. Okay, Tours looks like it's doing what I was expecting it to do now, and it's got a prompt to create an account. And About. There we go. That's Product Sam. Look at that guy. What a legend. Product Sam. Okay. This looks great though, and if I click Explore Tours from here, it looks like it's all starting to connect much better. If I go back to the home page, and if I click Start Your Journey, that also goes here. This is all feeling a lot better connected. Discover, I didn't add anything for Discover. Maybe we can add that as part of the next prompt. If I click Login, okay, it's going to try and get me to sign up, but I can also continue as a guest. So it looks pretty impressive. I'm going to continue as a guest. I'm not going to try and do all of that right now. I'm now going to go onto here, onto the actual Greenwich tour, and I'm going to see if it did try and create anything. I'm not sure it's done anything with my actual audio request for it to generate some audio, but that's fair enough. I kind of expected that. And then there isn't anything on the Discover section, but all of this is starting to link really nicely. So I'm actually really impressed with this. Let's add a little bit more to the site. It didn't really get my blog request before, so this time I ask it to add a Discover page. On that page include inspirational travel tips about places to visit with a call to action to try the related tour. For instance, explain why Greenwich is an amazing place to visit, including interesting facts, history and context. Use the flavour of a travel influencer guide for this page. Create a section on the site that also allows new tour creators to add tours to the site also. This latest iteration did include a new inspiration page. What I was expecting on this page was to have something that was a bit more blog-like, and that isn't what it did. But actually, I didn't mind this. I thought there was some merit to this as a concept in of itself, as a way of highlighting the key features about a particular tour. So although not my initial idea, it kind of inspired me to think about different features for the site in of itself. The one negative to this latest iteration is it didn't actually allow people to create their own tours, which was part of my initial prompt, so I had to go back and re-prompt it again. What I asked it to do in the latest prompt was just to make that ability to add your own tour as visible as possible across the site. And that's exactly what it did. It added it to the top navigation, and you could actually get to this page from various different places. End to end, this took me about half an hour to create this website, and that included 4 or 5 different iterations of the product. And at the end of it, you can just with one click of a button publish it. So if you're curious about even testing out the site yourself, you can find it in the description below. If you're someone a bit like me, maybe you are someone that has a lot of ideas for new websites or apps, or maybe you actually work as a product manager just like I do, and you want to bring to life ideas on behalf of clients. Well, Lovable and tools like this are a great way to do that, especially in the early concept phase when you want to try and test something new. What I did find though is that when you are prompting, it is a little bit hit or miss. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't, sometimes they go as you expect them to do. And even in this case, at points, it even broke itself, but then at least it fixed it. If you did enjoy this video, my main tip is go try the tool, do it for yourself. You will learn so much by experimenting. But before you do that, make sure you give it a like on this video itself and maybe subscribe to the channel. I'm testing out loads of different AI tools that are great for people who have lots of innovative ideas or maybe work in teams developing world-class products. So if you like the idea of that, please let me know and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. As for me, I've got some more ideas. I might give Lovable another go.